What's wrong with? I don't know what
Yeah,
you.
are we? Can y'all hear us?
Oh, you
We
mean
are
okay?
back. We are back. We are back. What do you think?
Sabrina name.
We are back. We are back. We are back. Great pick and sound. Okay,
Great.
Mom.
Thank you, Ma.
We are back.
What is her
We are back. We are back.
What is Sabrina's other song?
The flute song and Lay Me Down.
Yeah, what's the other one?
Oh, shit.
Keep
I don't know.
let's
You make me feel.
and
We are back, you guys, and she's typing the name of the artist and the songs that are out and where you could get them at so that you guys could just feed and see where it is.
what is
Yay, Mom, to you too. Steve, what's
Hi.
up, cuz? We rocking, we rocking. We had to shut down and come back up, so that's what's up. But we are here. Everybody join us, join in, join us, join in. Let's do it. Uh,
Okay, so I just
see it? It should be in the feed.
he said I can't call it.
Oh,
You said what's
see?
up? See, you can't.
I
You're
can't
the one
see.
that can't see. Okay, so I just wanted to put my artists out there because their numbers, the feedback from their numbers are just they doing their thing, and every week I always put a plug in for them, but it's just a quick plug and I move on. And they deserve much credit. Sabrina Johnston is my major artist. She has she has Lay Me Down, the flute song, and You Make Me Feel. And so go to your favorite streaming sites, look her up. She's been out since the 90s. She's just doing her thing. Hey Eunice,
What up, cuz?
and so and Del Royale is a beast. Do you hear me? If you go on YouTube and Google and look up his name, Del Royale, that's DEL space RO hyphen YA, well not a hyphen, just what's that little dot? The little thing on the top of it. YALE. Look him up. He has Risking It All, Only One, and he has a couple of other songs out. He is a beast. He's a young guy, but with the old soul. He's a beast. So please support my artists. Also, guess what, y'all? I would always tell y'all about the anthology that I wrote a chapter in called The Corona Chronicles. Guys, support. The book is out. It's we're taking pre-orders now. Um the book is actually ready to go though, and you can get I have shared on Facebook, but you guys call me. I'm so excited I can't hardly talk. Call me. I am my husband to get your copy
Don't
of
I
the.
am me for that.
Don't be like that. What's wrong with you all night? Ma, he acting up again.
I'm not.
Sit there. Okay. Now, like I was like I was saying, call us. I am me. Get your copy of the Corona Chronicles. It is it's powerful. It's 15 authors and their experience during this time of the Corona Chronicles.
His name is in the feed, Steve. It's up there, Del Royale, Risking It All. It's in the feed.
So please, please, please support. The book is a powerhouse. And there's a young author there, my great niece. Well, actually, my great niece and my great nephew, they have a chapter in the book. They are both young people, very talented young people. My niece at 9 years old wrote 3 books, and now she's 17.
What?
So,
Yo,
um, you got to read the book. Get the book. Send your orders in to me, and I'll get you your autographed copy. Well, I
somebody.
can't promise all of it will be autographed, but I can get at least get you 2 or 3 autographs. Um, Also, my sister has um, the book club and the book club to Carol's Return and Ladies of the Book Club web series. And guess what? Also, our book is almost finished. We're working on the last chapter and a half. That's what we got, chapter and a half. So we're almost finished. So that will probably be published and out next month, right? And then I'll start working on Life at the Bentleys. And so that's all my exciting news. I'm so excited about what's been going on and what's been out. God is so good. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, your plugs.
I have nothing.
I have
Oh
nothing,
no.
nothing,
Wait. Wait, I
nothing
got a whole lot if you're
if
gonna do that.
I don't
Oh no.
have
Wait a minute.
you.
Wait a minute.
What's her name?
Who?
The singing instructor.
She was a hot second. Jamel, where you at?
I was singing to you. Where you at? I have
Wait a minute.
nothing if I
Eleanor, what do
don't
you mean I
have
better get it
you.
together?
Okay, so put in your plugs because we gotta start the show.
I'm not doing anything really very interesting. It's the same thing I've been doing every week.
You know what? This one right here, this one right here.
I sound like a record. You gotta give my daddy records.
We said we was gonna be good. We wasn't gonna be silly this week.
All right. I got a lot going on, man. A lot going on. I have.
Oh, have you? Eleanor says she read it. The book club, Carol's Return, is a great book. Wow.
What acting like you just what?
Acting like orange man.
You know what? Tammy, what's up?
Put in your plug so we
Um,
can.
don't you rush me through my stuff. All right, listen, y'all. I have my beat tape that's still out. It's on all stream sites, and that's doing pretty good too, y'all. For real. Thank you to everyone who supported me on that project. I have that. I have. I have Tara Jamel. She was actually
Seems like we've been in the edibles again.
nah, sucker. Tara Jamel, she was actually on a minute ago. She'll probably join back in, but she has a single dropping on the 21st, and the
Yay!
video was done. Yo, listen, you talk about crazy. This is crazy, and she's written for a lot of powerhouse artists that are in the business. You know, I'm not gonna jump into too much of it, but her single should be out on the 21st, and the big guy right here, I just did the remix to it, and they are super, super, super excited about the remix. They love it. They're trying to pin the video with it right now and all of that. So I got that going on. I'm still working on the class for beat makers, the entry class. I'm gonna be done with that real soon because I have some equipment coming in that I needed to further help me with this project. So once I get everything in place, man, I'll be able to fly through it. Steve,
So you just sit there.
Yeah, right. And what else? Oh, I switched platforms over to Mixcloud. Anyone on Facebook, I gave you guys Erica Joy, what's happening?
Hey,
What's
Erica!
happening, family? I sent you guys links to my new platform. I put up three. I think it's three mixes up there. I just put a new mix up there yesterday because I'm not going live tomorrow on Mixcloud.
Are you going live at all tomorrow?
No, I'm not going live tomorrow. I
How
have to wait
dare you
until.
disappoint us?
This is why I'm explaining what I did. This is why I did a new mix and I put it on Mixcloud, and I'm gonna give everybody the link to it tomorrow, so y'all could click on the link and go and listen to it anytime. Be, at our toe tap time. You can listen to it anytime you see the link up. So I'm giving y'all that mix so that it can hold you over till next Tuesday, which I know it's not the same.
Satisfied with that.
I know it's not the same. Reef, what's up? I know
Hey,
it's
Reef.
not the same, but I'm trying to do the best I can. But it's a little technical difficulty with the new platform and all of that, and I'm waiting for a piece of equipment here and a piece of equipment. It's just not feasible for me to go live. And if I try to go live, they're gonna shut me all the way down. So we'll be toe tapping to nothing, even me. So I got that going on, and I got an interview on a couple of podcasts. We may be moving over to Roku TV
don't
soon.
Be telling that.
That's
secret.
No, that's a blessing, and that's going to be exciting. And we'll see. We in works right now.
Yeah, but
James, what's good, my brother? Crunch, what's happening?
I don't think that he should have told
What's
that.
The topic for tonight? That's what James said.
Oh, we haven't even got into it yet.
Well, we get ready to get into it right now.
So I won't be toe tapping and having Terry's drink tomorrow. No, and I didn't even know myself, Eleanor. So I don't know what's going on.
Tomorrow is not. I can't go live tomorrow. I can't go live tomorrow. I don't know, man. Maybe. Y'all will know early on Facebook. Y'all will know. I'll put a post up early tomorrow before it's time.
Word to the UBS, go live. LOL, we needed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, man. I'm gonna try.
I have to sign up to Mixcloud.
Yeah, it's dope. Crunch is crazy. I got a couple mixes up there, man, and they tagging those mixes, man. They love them. So I'm gonna definitely give the link out to everybody. I'm gonna put a link up tomorrow morning.
So guys, also please, if share, if you're on Facebook, we are also streaming live on YouTube. So go to YouTube and subscribe, comment and hit the notification, because that also is a that also decides whether we go to a new platform, which is Roku TV. So that's huge for us. So
we going.
Yeah, well, that's what my husband says, we're going. But Roku TV would be kind of dope.
We going.
It would be nice to be on Roku TV.
We'll make it happen.
Say, look where we go at. Look where we at. But yeah. So that would Hatchett Chronicles would be moving to that platform. And so now let's get into the subject.
You taking all long?
You know what, y'all? Okay, so the subject today is,
living with the enemy.
Okay, so living with the enemy. So
this, just want to plug this. This show was inspired by one of my dudes, DJ Extreme, Frank Boom.
Hi, sister.
Hey, Davita.
Okay, so living with the enemy, and here's the thing. I gotta tell you this. I'm gonna tell you on the bus just a little bit, but just to tell this.
You always do anyway.
I don't always.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Liar.
Beaner. Anyway, so my husband said with the enemy. I thought it was sleeping with the enemy, but what I said to him is that the enemy does not have to always be someone you're sleeping with. It could be a family member. So, and what living with the enemy is living at your house. You're in your house, and it's somebody that's in the house, whether it be your significant other or a family member, and y'all are just. It's like you scared. You sleeping with one eye open, and y'all have it out. You try to stay away from the house, just to have a peace of mind. Like you rather work than go home because you want to have a peace of mind. Now, I've been there. I've lived with the enemy, and I was in a relationship, and I worked 13 hours a day just so I wouldn't have to be home with that person.
I mean,
Hey, Lydia.
Lydia, what's up, family? I'm posing the question. I mean, I do have a good idea how that could happen, but the posing question is how could you
Why stay in that situation?
not even why stay, but how could it get to that point in the first place? I'll say
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but for me, it was
that.
many,
Well,
many, many children later, and I felt like that the kids needed both of us, and I didn't want to leave because I didn't want to break up the family. I felt like the kids needed both, and I knew that if I left, then there was going to be a problem with the kids, with the custody thing, which eventually it happened anyway. But at the time, I guess I thought that I didn't realize how much it affected the kids. And so I thought I was staying for them, but when I realized how much it affected them, then that's when I left. So at first it was like, it was like no matter how miserable I am, this is for my children. They need both a mother and a father.
right. I'm that. So here's my thing. Another question that I'm posing is okay. So it's great in the beginning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everyone when you first get into a relationship with somebody, it's always Kit Kats and Starbursts and cotton candy. Everything's beautiful. So somewhere along the line, it has to take a turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order for that type of situation to be created, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so boom, the situation presents itself.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with it. Okay, when do you come to a point to say enough is enough? Whether the kids, whatever. When is the point that you say enough is enough? I gotta go.
Here's the thing. When you're in
I'm not saying you, but
I know, but here's the thing.
I'm
A
generalizing.
relationship takes any relationship, be it significant other or family or whatever, any relationship takes two grown people. First of all, it takes two people. Then it takes two grown people. And then it takes communication and honesty. So
Hmm.
if you don't start out like that or you're not a grown person, then that's where the issue comes in.
Hmm.
Then when you grow up, if one person grow up and the other one don't, that other person will have the whatever. I don't want to say sense because it's not, that might be offensive, but the other person will have what it takes to say, okay, this enough is enough and move on.
Hmm.
But if the two people never
Get to that point.
get to that point, then it's just
It's a
like,
toxic relationship.
yeah, it's a toxic relationship. And some people stay for what they feel is the right reasons, but they don't realize it's not. Like I said, in my case, I stayed because I thought I was doing something for the kids. I didn't realize that I was damaging them more than I was if I had
Helping.
been helping. And some people think, okay, I'm married, and I want to say this about marriage.
Wait a minute, we getting deep here.
Oh, okay.
James Rodman.
James said, staying out because home was stressful. I related to that. Eleanor said, that's
Right.
why I love living alone. Been through that. James said, somebody or both stop wanting it to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
What's up,
Yeah.
Wolf? When you begin to see, Eunice said, when you begin to see yourself in a white straight jacket, time to roll. Mom said that is tough. When the relationship turns toxic to the point that two people are in a house and cannot go one day without hostility, then it is time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Cherie said because some people are afraid of change, so they just settle true with it, or should I say, still in being uncomfortable. Eleanor said, in my case, he became possessive and I couldn't handle that.
And you know what? To add insult to injury, some people stay for convenience. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's convenient to stay to start all over would be a bit
Rough.
much, and then going out trying to find a new place and doing all of that all over again. It'll be, I figured it'd be more convenient to just rock out here and I'll just turn everything off. I'll turn my hearing off. I'll turn my feelings off. You understand what I'm saying? And then it becomes even worse at that point. Even worse at that point. Because now there's minimal to no communication at all, right? And everything it's at a boiling point in your mind. It's at a boiling point in my mind because I don't really know what's going on with you. You don't really know what's going on with me.
It's uncomfortable.
But it's uncomfortable inside the house as it is.
Walking on A. Everybody's walking on A.
Exactly. So that is an environment that nobody should live in because that's toxic all the way around.
James says convenience is cheaper sometimes. That's true, but I want to speak to, and Mom, I want you to speak to this with me. Biblically, biblically, some people stay because they have been told that to leave is to divorce is a sin.
If you divorce in your heart,
exactly.
That's what
but
God
people don't look at that. People say, okay, divorce is a sin. So, and they don't think about, some people take things and misconstrue it their own way.
Some people, and I'm not trying to bash anyone or anything, but my own opinion, this is my own opinion. I just believe some people that read the Bible don't, they take a scripture for themselves and they they do their own interpretation of it. So
okay, Erica said personally I can't stay somewhere that I am not happy. It would just get uglier and uglier.
Yes, it would.
Cherie said, true story. Mom said, how in the world can you call that convenient? That is torture.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And I've been there. And Erica, you're right. It's hard. I thought that I couldn't stay somewhere that I was unhappy. But I think sometimes, especially when you have children, small children, I think sometimes that you try to do what's best for them.
Crunch said he dealt with that for 11 years.
He said, I dealt with this for 11 years. She was half the rent. You know what? Eleanor said, if I was 10 minutes late coming home from work, I had to hear about it or why you wearing that, etc. It became stressful. Mom said, well, I love the heart is what God looks at. And if it is over in your heart, it is over. Exactly.
That's right.
And that's what I feel. But a lot of people don't, like, for instance, I know this couple way back when that the wife wanted to get divorced because of how the husband, he had cheated and he had did all this stuff. And the church actually tried to make her stay with him.
That's
and they kicked her out of the church when she left him.
That's crazy. Crunch said she was half the rent.
So I think that's also and I think it's harder for men. Some men feel like that they gotta do the right thing. And so
I've dealt with that for a little bit, but listen.
I never care what my lady wears. She's responsible for her image, right?
That's a
True
fact.
that.
That's a fact.
And she gotta have some respect for herself. So if she have respect for herself, she'll have respect for you.
Yeah, she gotta have that respect for you too.
But I was saying that I think it's harder for a man because he feels if he's doing the right thing, he feels like that if he leaves,
he feels like that everything is if I leave, man. Well, some men. I'm not going to say all men, because I felt like if I leave, I'm gonna be happy in a minute. If you're not happy, you can't make anyone else happy. First of all, first and foremost, if you're living like that, you're not going to get any happiness at all. This is just what I believe. I don't think you're going to be happy in any kind of thing. And only time you may get happiness is when you go outside, right? But then once you go outside and you're around all your people and all your friends and all of that, the only conversation that you're geared toward is what's going on at the crib.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're verbally reaching out to someone for them to give you some kind of insight on what you can do better, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? What
Mm-hmm.
the case may be, or
Especially if you're fighting to stay.
exactly. So, I mean, that's so toxic on so many different levels, man. It really is. It really is. So, I mean, my suggestion would be, I know y'all always look at me crazy because my first thing is you need to sit down and talk. But that's important. That's really, really important. Whether they hear you or not, at least attempt. So when it all goes crazy, you can say, I asked you to talk with me about this.
Okay, so
All
we're
right. So
losing.
go
We
ahead.
gotta go. Okay, so
It's Eleanor.
okay, Mom said, "How in the world?" Oh, we read that. James said, "I dealt with this one." Oh, we read that.
Right.
Okay, Eleanor said, "If I was 10 minutes late, come." We read that.
That.
Well, I love the Lord. We read that.
Steve.
Okay, James said, I never cared what my lady wears." Did we read that? Okay. Steve said, "I think at our age, starting over is the hard part."
Yeah, you're right, Steve.
Mom said, "Well, if you have grown children, then it will get physical." It got physical when I had little kids, Mom.
Wow.
We were always fighting and just acting crazy.
Absolutely, but
I wasn't dressing like a nun to please him. Brown skin green said, "I love you guys so much." James said, "I'm 49 and still never been married. Pray I get what I've been waiting for as a blessing."
you will.
You will, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
It ain't nothing wrong with holding out, man.
Yeah.
You can hold out until you get what you know is for you.
Steve said, "So you put up with more than you normally would." Eleanor said, "I was not going to let him change me." Brownskin said, "Well, I'm not happy in my marriage. This shit oh, excuse me, go and have a MF dead."
Who is brown skin green? Who is that? Brown skin green, reveal yourself, will you please? I know you my family something, but you crazy.
Eleanor said, "I was not going to." Oh, I read that.
Erica said.
James said, "Oh, James Rodman, www.arthurjamesrodman.com."
That's where you could get
shouting
the book.
Him out.
Yes, it's a great read.
Erica said, "Many people just cannot communicate effectively."
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna speak to you, saying about sitting down, baby. Brownskin said, "I'd be like, I'm your cousin than that, but I pray so much that my marriage gets better." Yeah. Samara.
Oh, cuz what happening, yo?
Mom said, "Well, when both of the people involved think it's over by not working at the marriage, why would you hang around?"
Facts.
Steve said, "Why would anyone want to change you?" Samara Jamila. Okay, Frank Boone said, just woke up. Sorry, guys, that's okay." So I want to speak to what you said about sitting down and talk, because
Mirror short stack. I know who you are now. You're gonna put 900 names in the factory.
Because you always say that we should sit. You gotta sit down and communicate. But let me say this.
All right.
Let me say this, because that's your first thing you say, and I agree with you. And that's because we sit down and communicate. But sometimes you can only communicate to a certain point. After that certain point, it don't make no sense to keep saying the same thing.
No. I'm not saying do it over and over and over and over again. Here's my thing. My thing is this: don't take my option from me, right? If I say we need to talk, I have something on my mind without you giving me a chance to say what I need to say, that automatically takes away my option, right? That takes away my option to speak. It takes away my option to tell you how I feel. And then it takes away all things for intents purposes that you want to hear what the problem is.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We done sit down and talk. I done heard you, you done heard
There's
me.
no more talking.
5 minutes later we argue. Then we have another, we do it again. Because maybe somebody got something misconstrued and did not hear something. So we have another talk. Sit down and have another talk.
We're going.
5 minutes later, same thing happens.
I'm gone.
What? Okay, that's what
I'm
I'm
gone.
saying. Mark Maxwell.
What
People
up,
have to
cuz?
learn how to understand each other, and counseling can teach you how to get the tools you need to learn how to deal with unpleasant situations when they arrive. I agree to a point to that. Let me just say this. Sometimes it's just over. Sometimes when somebody is, because sometimes, you marry unequally yoked sometimes. And when you get to that point that you find out you're unequally yoked, and this is coming from somebody who stayed with somebody for 17, I was the man altogether for 20 something years. But for 17 of those years, it was fighting miserable, but I stayed. And we went through counseling, psychology, psychiatrists. We went through everything there was to go through. But we wasn't meant to be together in the first place because how we got together was on the wrong tip in the first place.
That's another thing too. Sometimes how things start out
is how they're gonna go.
Or the way they're gonna go.
So
it's not gonna change.
After you have around talking, the psychiatry, everything, it's time to go. And guess what? If somebody threatened me, look, I'm not one to look behind my back. So if you're going to threaten me, either I'm going to have to take you out right now or I'm going to have to go. There's not too many choices to that because I would never, ever, I'm not one to keep on looking over my shoulder.
Why would you have to live like that?
So once you become to that point, it's time to go because what else is get out?
The thing is, it's time to go when there's no more communication, period, point blank. Because once there's no more communication, there's no trust, there's no morals, there's no liberty, there's nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Brown Skin Green said, I tried to sit and communicate, but it doesn't do it. I requested marriage counseling, and the fool said he's not going to let no white man tell him it.
Well, that's just
Illinois.
That's just angry.
Eleanor said, thank God we weren't married. I had the ring, but I was smart. I know that's right.
Did you pawn it off?
I got married the last 3 years after I was still going through medicine. I still married him the last 3 years. And I don't know why. That's a whole different story. But Eleanor said, thank God I read that. James said, I feel once counseling is our only option, I'm out. Eleanor said, somewhere in the river, a fish has a nice ring in his stomach. Wow. Oh, my.
You took that to the pawn shop.
That's right. I swear I agree on other people listening to us, helping us, or I'm out. Eunice said, sometimes it's over before it begins. Exactly. Unequally yoked is real. Ain't enough therapy to fix that. Exactly.
That's right.
Brownskin said, oh, I've been through the beating it. I'm going to kill or just leave. Steve said there is no happiness when communication stops. True.
That's right.
Hey, Niecy Pooh.
Niecy,
she said, look at that hair, Auntie. Thank you, baby. I'm getting ready to put it back in braids, though, because I can't keep it up. It's been a detail all this time. Brownson Green said, because you love him.
Mm-hmm.
Mom said, then when you realize that there is no recourse, the only reason you are there is to make the others miserable. You clearly have a make-up mind to live with misery and argue and making your own self sad every day. You got a point there because that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. You just settle for the it. But baby, you know what else I want to say to you? I want to speak to wait a minute, I gotta go back because you always say that.
What?
I don't
What did
remember.
I
I was
say?
gonna make a point on something somebody said.
What was the point?
I don't know because I can't
Put
remember.
some respect on my name. Well,
It'll come along. I have to think about. Did I waste 14 years of my life, or was it something I had to go through to heal and grow?
you know
That's
what?
a good point, Eunice.
Yeah, man.
That is a good
That
point
was
because
dope.
you know what? I learned from my lesson. I don't consider, I did what I did. I was in a situation, but I learned a lot from it, including if I can't sit and blame him for everything. Yes, a lot of the stuff, but not everything, because I played my part in it too.
You know what? Here's the thing. A lot of stuff happens to us when we're younger, right? And in and out of relationships and things like that, right? So what happens is once you start to get older and you start to realize what's taking place, what needs to be, what you're figuring out, what you've got right, what you've corrected, what still may be wrong, but you look at it in a different perspective. Once you start to get all of these different pieces of the puzzle and start to put them together, then a lot of things in a relationship start to make sense. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I think the older we get, the more we understand how we have to be mindful to the person that we're in a relationship with. You have to be respectful to the person that we're in a relationship with. And you have to own up and stand on your own mess, point blank, period. You have to know that when you create a mess, you got to stand on it and own up to it. Because if you don't, you can't just pawn that off on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take care of your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that will make
your own big
right. And that will make the relationship a lot easier. Because really, a relationship or marriage is what you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's what you make it. It's what you make
what
out of
the
it.
two people make it.
I don't mean like a personal sense, like one person.
Mm-hmm.
When I say you, I mean both people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm generalizing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say you, I mean both parties. But a marriage is what you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make it what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk down to your spouse or your significant other, what kind of recourse do you think you're going to get in return? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm walking around calling B's and MFs, when we talk or when we ain't talking or whatever the case, if that's what I'm addressing you as all week long, and then on Saturday, I want to grab your hand and go to the mall, and that's fake.
Mm-hmm.
That's fake. And I just, I just believe that it is what you make it, and you have to be responsible for your own stuff. You got to be responsible for your own. You got to take responsibility for your role doing it. I think as long as you stand on what you're doing and take responsibility for your own part, I think things would be pretty good.
So let's talk about what if it's not a love so your significant other? What if it's like a family member? Like y'all are living together like a sister or brother and you're paying rent and then all of a sudden somewhere things turn and y'all start fighting one another. How do you deal with a family member?
That's
Like
your,
somebody that was close to you.
that's your family. But somewhere along the line, y'all got to get that together. You got to go back. It's a lot of comments right now.
Okay.
Hang on 1 second, you guys.
Okay, I threw the rain. When you can't. Okay. Did I waste 14 years of my life or was it something I had to go through to heal and grow? We read that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you can't have a cordial conversation, it's a done deal.
Right.
I threw his ring in the drain outside so the rats and the possums got them a nice ring. Mom said, well, I don't think you are selling for ish. You are begging for it. Just saying. James said, I learned from my 11-year typical sabbatical.
I can't see it.
DEBACLE sabbatical. Eleanor said, I'm not charming and I don't take crap off anybody. I'm a good person, but I have my limits. James said, two women in this thread threw away the rings. That was a lot of money just to throw away because of emotions. Tell me how they dealt with emotions, not facts and common sense. Because he's saying, I think I would have pawned the ring too. um, Erica said, great point, Frank. Steve said, sometimes, where is it? Steve said, sometimes when you're in a terrible relationship, it's a blessing because not only is it a blessing, it's a lesson, a learned lesson. It lets you know exactly what your new relationship content should be filled with.
Good point.
Brown Skin Green said, it's like I feel like I wasted 9 years of my life to to didn't. Someone to didn't. I. Frank Boone said, okay, so her daughter had my car while we went to Virginia for a funeral. I found weed in my car on the road, luckily looking for something else. The daughter lied about it to the end. So with another occurrence involving weed, the daughter disrespected me and threatened me. And her mother, my wife, never did or said anything to the daughter. In fact, took her side. So I left for 3 months. The pandemic brought us back together. We moved then in July. I had a stroke the week after I came home. The wife, I don't know, I don't know how to see the other part. I had a stroke the week after I came home, and after I came home, the wife, no, I don't see the of it.
You probably got to tape it.
Oh, Brown Skin said, Lord, I typed that one fast. Illinois said, absolutely a lesson. Eunice said, and we also need to listen to God before we get. Amen. We also need to listen to God before we get married. I'm not talking about the Bible God. I'm talking about the God that's been living in us from day one. The only God that wants nothing but the best for us. Steve said, you can heal from your sister or brother because they will always be just that. Mom said at James Rodman, I hear you. The ring was a gift to me, so I am on my way to the pawn shop and make myself a serious steak dinner with part of the money. Brown Skin Green said, oh, the ring, I have money. It's not all about money. My feelings are involved. Eleanor said, wasn't any money out of my pocket. He was still paying on it for 3 more years.
Okay, so the feed is filled. And I do want to address, there was something that I wanted to address. There's so much of it, but I think it was just, I think Crunchy says something that I wanted to address. Go back up a little bit.
James, I learned from 11 years to battle. James said two women in this thread threw away that one.
What is it?
Two women in this thread threw away the ring. That one.
No.
Steve said sometimes when you're in a terrible relation, it's a blessing. That one.
Right. Okay. It was Steve.
Because not only is it a blessing, it's a lesson learned. You said you wanted to respond.
Yes, it is a lesson learned, but at the same time, because like Dan, what kind of luggage you're bringing into the relationship. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that the luggage that you're bringing in, when it's time to get, when you go through a relationship like that, that's very painful and hurtful and disrespectful and all of that. When you go into a new relationship, you can't take those things with you, first of all. Those things you cannot take with you because the person that you're getting into the new relationship with, they don't deserve that. Once you get into that, if this is the stuff you're giving them, you're taking their option away.
I want to speak to what Eunice said because I think that's a main point. She said, and let me tell you something, once I learned to heal and love myself first, true love showed up. You attract who you are. I must have been crazy. What I want to say about that is that
Yeah, Eleanor, you are a hot mess.
what I want to say about that is when you learn who you are, you will not settle for less. When you learn that you are a king or queen, you will not settle for less because you're like, I don't have to take this.
And it's okay to ask questions.
And it's okay to walk away.
Yes, it is. I was getting ready to say that. It's okay to ask questions, and it's okay for those questions that you ask to be uh, critical questions.
Mm-hmm.
And if the person that you are planning on dealing with can't answer those questions or those things that you're looking for not being fulfilled, it's cool to walk away. It's okay to walk away. You don't have to put pressure on yourself to be there or, well, I know he likes me or I know she likes me. You know what? I'm gonna push that to the side. We're gonna rock out. No, that's how the toxic begins to happen. Because you've never put it on the table in the first place.
Exactly.
When it comes to getting into the relationship, you need to put everything on the table in the beginning. I'm talking about your keys, your now laters, your wallet, pictures of your mom, all of that.
James said, James Rodman said, I find that so many women are jaded and still not healed from the past hurt. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Eleanor said, "Gee, thanks, Frank." Because James said, saying you're a hot mess means you're admitting you have a problem too. Steve said, if someone makes you happy, you will put that baggage on the back burner. But you gotta first understand that you do have baggage, and they could make you happy, but you could be so damaged or so blind, have the blinds on that you don't even see a know a good person when you got one.
You don't even know that you bought the baggage in the house and you unpacked it and everything.
Yep. Eleanor said, I'm still looking for love. Mom said, I think when you are subjected to a relationship of this kind and you participate in it, I think this speaks volumes and you learn quite a bit about yourself.
That's exactly right. That's the main point right there.
Steve said, really? James said, I'm still looking for love too. Eleanor said, I wasn't perfect by no means, but he wanted to be physical. That right there,
that's a no.
That's the reason to leave. And trust me, I've been through it, but we both was physical, but it was still that's a reason. The first time on, that is a reason to leave.
Eunice hit that on that. She said,
physical is never to be a accepted. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted to.
Eunice said, they still need to do the work. Right. Physical is never. You're right, Crunch.
That's Steve. That is a person who wants to work on the relationship.
Right. That's right. I don't think that any relationship will survive off of being physical. There's no relationship. I don't think that a woman should stay with a man that hits on her or vice versa. A woman that hits on a man, and I know y'all might laugh, but there are cases out there like that some men are abused by some of the women that, actually.
How do you not know you have baggage?
How do you not know? Well,
what you had just, what we spoke to before, that's what she's asking you.
How do you not know?
That you have baggage? Because you're so blind, you haven't grown up, you haven't learned. So you take it into another relationship, and if somebody treats you good, you're expecting something to go wrong because of what you've been through in your past. That's baggage. It's like you don't even realize you got a good person because you expecting them to turn around and act like the people you've been with.
Or on another note, this person could be very good, but you're blaming yourself for everything because you're so used to what happened in the relationship before that you automatically, succumb to. No, it's not your fault. It's all mine. I mean, you're great. Mm-hmm. It's my fault. No, you're fine. You're fine. No, it's me. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at that point, I mean, that's a heavy bag.
Mom doesn't agree to that. She said malarkey.
Okay.
Eunice said, possible you're playing the victim.
Exactly.
Eleanor said got away with hitting me twice. Third round went to me. That's when I knew it was time to go. Steve Guy said if you pay close attention to the content of the new relationship, it has a way of making you forget the old one. Look at Frank and Terry and Cuz. I know what you've been through.
Yeah, you do. Right. You're right. But you know something though, Steve? Like it's I do believe that it had a lot to do with me growing up too and searching for what I wanted and not to settle anymore for just anything. You know what I mean? Settle for, excuse me, y'all, a big butt or some nice fun bags or something, a cute face or whatever.
Fun bags. I love it.
But I'm just saying, like, sometimes, you have to look at the content of the heart, and what the and you can't just. I mean, if they showing you, a good time, what is the definition of your good time for real? You know what I mean? Are you content with sitting on the couch watching a movie, or do you have to be out, outside all the time? Or it depends on the what your content of having a good time is,
I
and what you
also
can
say
enjoy.
that we would never have been in this what I call a perfect relationship had we not worked on ourselves and went through what God took us through gave our chance to go through what God took us through first. I know for a fact we would not have been where because by the time we got together, we knew exactly what we were looking for. We knew um we had our spiritual allergy going on. We had God. And so we had put on our big girl and boy pants where we needed to be. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't see each other flirting with each other because usually we would have
We
saw that.
flirted with each other for 5 years and never knew it.
And never knew. And that was nothing but God. Because we never knew it because we were supposed to be together and God didn't want us to go into it in a different way.
And then too, another thing, you cloud your judgment when you start becoming physical and having sex with that person. You know, that'll cloud your judgment to make you think that it's love when it
Exactly.
very well just be lust.
And
And then, because you hear the saying, men and women say, "Oh, I got to test drive this car before I buy it," and all of that. I think that that's crap because if you really want a and something good out of a relationship, if you abstain from sex, that right there is the part that's tough because what happens is now you have to learn this person's heart and you have to learn this person's mind, right? And what happens is you have to be attentive to the person that you're with in different areas instead of being attentive sexually, right? So if there's no sex in the picture at all, now I have to sit and say,
you have to see me for how I am and nothing.
Right. And there's no sexual anything about the situation.
Yeah.
Nothing
and
sexual about the situation.
See the person.
I have to see the person. I have to see the heart that this person has. And I have to read into the mind that this person has. And I have to see where the compatibility lies. Right? So that we could put this thing together as one to make it be what we need it to be.
And not lust.
Exactly.
Okay, so we going back up
because it's a bunch of.
If you pay attention, okay.
No, Mom, go back because Mom said something. Okay.
We said that. We said that.
Eunice said.
Possibly, but we said that. If you pay attention. Okay. So Eunice said. So when is a good age range to consider a committed relationship? So wait, before you answer that.
Okay.
But Terry had to have a lot to do with your state of mind. Steve said. Mom said, you have baggage. You just don't know how to deal with it. That is when you go to someone's professional together and own up to your hurt my opinion.
Mm,
And
that's a great
Eunice
point.
said, life after divorce is challenging in this day and age, in my opinion. And Steve said, true indeed. And G said, G, gotta go work on this song. Holla later.
No doubt.
See you, Steve. And James said, once I learn not to have to like sex the way I like it, I'll be better. You know what? Eleanor said, seduce my mind. You can have my body. Amen. I used to think too. But here's the thing. Okay, so the age thing.
Go ahead.
I feel like that, and my opinion, but I feel like a 20-year-old can be mature enough. It's not really about the number. It's about what's inside of here, your heart, and here. And because I know a young couple, and they built their empire together, and they have an empire, and I'm thinking they just hit 30. I'm thinking they just hit 30. I'm not sure if they're in their 30s yet or not, but they started out young, and they did they were here and here.
You know what? I don't think that it's a number. I think it depends on the experience of living, right? Meaning, the things that you've experienced so far to this point that will allow you to uh, take the relationship serious, or not take it so serious, or try to understand what a real relationship is about, or you know what I mean. I just feel like it's the experience of living to be able to be mature enough to understand what you're dealing with, to be able to understand what you're getting into. You understand what I'm saying? And you need to talk to someone. I think that if you're that young, you need to speak to a couple that's been together for 50 years, 60 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and sometimes even those aren't perfect relationships, because sometimes those relationships stay together just because of comfortability, or what have you. But at the same time, I don't really think that there's a number on it. I just think that mentally you have to be strong enough to know what you're dealing with. That's all.
Okay, so Illinois. Okay, so Jane said, "I'm just a nasty mofo. Truthfully, pray for me." You know what, Jane? No, you know what your problem is? You haven't found the one, because
no, you know what? That's not a problem. You know what, Jane? This is the deal with Crunch, yo. This is the deal. He just is not going to settle for any.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He hasn't found the one.
And I think that's dope. And I think you should keep striving, bro. And I don't think you should, compromise who you are and what you stand for and what you stand on in order to just be in a relationship or just to have love. I think
yes, because when you find the one,
yo, my goodness,
you're gonna ain't nothing nothing else ain't gonna matter except for that one.
That's right. And so, it's gonna skyrocket to the top.
Exactly.
Right? And when you do find out, I need to know so I can be there to hug both of y'all and tell both of y'all I love you.
Mom said at GL and Terry, that is because not only did you hear and recognize the voice of the Lord, you obeyed him. But you have to know that is not always the case with people knowing and trusting God enough to move forward. And Mom made a good point, because remember that couple I just told you about that is young and that's building their empire? They listened to God. They were pastors, right? Yep, they passed it. Now they both pastors.
Right, but at the time they wasn't.
They wasn't. But they listened to God and they followed God all the way. And they got married when everything looked like
it was in turmoil.
It was in turmoil. They just kept their eyes on God.
The ones here that used the word put up. Okay, yeah.
And they have their empire, they have their children, and they have been through some stuff, but they've been through it together, and they stayed prayed up and stayed on God. And they're not even, I want to really say they're not even 30 yet. They could be 30 now.
I think they're about 30, about 32.
Yeah, they're in their early 30s, but 32. They started out young. Yeah. And they got married young. but they still had it going on.
It's
You
the
know?
maturity of the mind.
Exactly. Not the age. It's not
That's
the
right,
number. It's
Eleanor.
not the number. It's where you at, and what mom said. It's being open to listening to God
That's right.
and moving in His
And
direction,
you
not
have,
yours.
and then too, you have to be in tune with yourself. That's a big thing. You have to be in tune with yourself, man. You have to be in tune with yourself in order to be able to make a conscious decision to say, I'm gonna get married. Because you have to know what you can put up with, what you won't put up with, what you could settle for, what you won't settle for, and you know how much you could give out before you feel like taking advantage of it.
That's true. Eunice said some people fall into these types of relationships because of the examples shown them from youth. I agree to that.
From what? From
Examples shown from youth.
youth.
I agree
Right.
that your youth has plays a part in your relationship and how you treat, you know, the your significant other.
Sure. I mean, if you know what, if you want, you know, but it depends on the mature, like she said, it depends on the maturity of the person because you know, in certain situations, you may find, you know, you may come up in a household where you see mom and dad they rocking out every other night, they fist fighting and all of that. You know what I mean? And that doesn't actually mean that that's who you're going to be in your relationship. You have to take that and understand that, you know, you have to find the right and wrong in that for yourself. You know what I mean? Mom can tell you it's wrong, dad can tell you it's wrong, but at the end of the day, you know, on Sunday, you know, they in the kitchen, you know, giving it up. You know what I mean? They're in the kitchen getting it up, you know, and it's like, wait a minute, I thought, you know, so what happens, you have to assess a situation for yourself and you know right from wrong. Listen, when you start coming up as a kid, you know, God gives you a spirit of what's right and what's wrong. If you steal some cookies out of a store, you know that that's wrong because you get a feeling over your body. You get a feeling in your spirit, in your gut. Took that. That's not right. It don't belong to me. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody has that. It's up to you to ignore it, or it's up to you to pay attention to it and assess the reason why you did what you did. You know what I mean? When you do that, then I think, even as a youth, if you see certain things, that does not mean that, you know, that relationship or your relationship will turn out like that. I'm just like cannonballing off of what Eunice said. James Robbins said, thank you. You're welcome, bro. Thank you, man.
Eunice
I love you
says
too, Justin.
some people fall into these types of relationships. Oh, we read that.
already.
Okay. Justin said, I love you. I love you too, Justin.
Nephew.
James said, you two are so inspiring. Oh, thank you, James.
Bro. Thank you, bro.
To God be the glory.
It's not us, man. We give it all to God. God is the
God
reason
be the
why
glory.
we do this, you know, Hatchett Chronicles and all that. And I just feel like if we can help somebody in some kind of way, if we help one person, if we help to change someone's thinking, or we help change the baggage that someone has or something like that, or just to check into yourself and make a little difference, I think that we've done a world of good. And I'm just thankful to God that, you know, we are able to have this platform to be able to you know, speak on what we've gone through, because this whole Hatchet Chronicles is a testimony of our lives together. And that's, you know, one of the reasons why we are doing this Hatchet Chronicles. So, um, with that being said, Eunice said, married people.
Many people have mommy and daddy issues, especially the absent one. That's the baggage that they take into their relationship.
That's true.
Mom said at GL, and how much work you are willing to put into your relationship, and you have to start out by saying divorce is off the table and mean it.
You're right, Mom.
That is so true. Hey, Kia.
Kia, what's up, Niecy?
That is so true because I that's one thing that people should start out with. You know how they said you start out from the bottom up.
You know what?
People don't start out with saying, you know what, no matter what happens, we not getting a divorce.
Did I tell you that?
Yep, you did, baby.
I told you that. I said I'm not. This is it.
And let me just say this.
I told my wife.
I've heard that before, but the other times that I've heard it, it was like, oh, they crazy. Don't marry them. Because they gonna get you in a relationship and try to kill you if you leave. but you know what? It's also a maturity, because when he said it, I didn't think that at all.
I'm not getting no divorce.
But it's a maturity thing.
We're gonna work thing, and we're gonna do the very best that we can. We're gonna hit our knees and pray and ask God to direct us in the right path, that we don't tear this house up with each other, and we're gonna get through this because we can.
Eunice said, yes, this is a great platform. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Eunice.
Eleanor said, you guys do a great job and you keep it real. Thank you, Eleanor.
Mom said, hey, sweetie.
She's talking to Kia. Eunice said, Will and Jada said that.
Yeah, but see, we don't rock with we don't do
entanglement, y'all. We don't do entanglements.
We don't do that over here.
We don't have those sorts of entanglements.
Yeah, we don't do the entanglement over here. No. We don't do that.
So, my opinion, if you are in something and you are miserable, life is short, especially now. My husband, I know what I was going to speak on, because my husband, he makes it known that he would never tell anybody to get divorced or leave their significant other. And so, I'm praying on that, because I'm not as graceful, not diplomatic as my husband, because I feel like real is real, and I feel like that if somebody threatens you, if you're fighting, if you know that it's doomed, get out. Why are you staying in some? And I'm saying that because I've been there. I don't talk what I don't know, or if I haven't walked a mile in the shoes, but I've been there. I spent 17 years there. And so let me tell you from lesson learned. If it's time to go, you know when it's time to go. And if you know you have exhausted and did everything that you could do, it's time to go. Even if you have to leave stuff, if you have to leave the house, if you have to leave the car, it's time to go, because nothing beats your happiness.
Well, I think with that being said, if you have the right mind when you're going into the relationship to talk about what you want, and ask her if that's her hair, and she asks you, do you have health insurance? Or those your teeth? Are they chiclets? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are questions that you need to ask in the beginning.
They had an open marriage, Will and Jada, so anything goes. They came into their marriage with license to cheat, my opinion.
That's right.
They did.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And so, but you know what, baby? You always go back to, you got to do this, you got to do this. Okay, so they didn't have that. They didn't ask the questions. They in it now. Bottom line, they in it now. So and they is not getting along, and so people threatening people. No. It's time to go.
Yeah, why stay?
That's just the bottom line.
See, I guess you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm not saying stay in a relationship where somebody's beating you up, slamming you around, or even verbally abusing you, emotionally abusing you. Any kind of abuse in a relationship is bad. I'm not saying stick around for that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, in the beginning, when you're talking to this person, when those dates that you're having on date night and you sit down, pose those questions that are on your heart. Don't sugarcoat the question. Don't flip it around because you want it to sound easy to someone, or you want them to accept it in a certain way. You pose the question that is on your heart, and you pose it the way that you feel it. And before the date is over that night, if they're not receptive to the things that you pose to them, it's not the situation for you. Point blank, period. Because all of this, you sitting down and you're having this conversation, and everything you say is, oh yeah, I love that. This is great. Question that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you have those questions and you say, well, I don't know if I'm man, I want to ask her that, but I don't accept. All right, I'm gonna ask her that another time. Not tonight. Tonight seems like it's going so great. And I think if I asked her how many men she ever slept with, I think that's gonna be the deal breaker. And she got some nice fun bags. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
ask those questions. Those are, I'm just saying, it's critical because without asking those questions, you settle. Without knowing, you settle. You understand what I'm saying? To a certain extent, you settle because there are things that you want to know about this person that you haven't asked yet, right? And it's okay to ask those on the first night.
And you're right, but what happens if, okay, so that's a given. We already know that. We already discussed it. But now we're in it.
I just believe that if you ask those questions, you won't end up in it.
Okay, but what about the people who are already in it, though?
If you're in it, leave. Don't sit there with somebody beating on you and slapping on you and physically and mentally and emotionally abusing you. Don't stick around for that.
Even if they're not physically abusive,
emotional abuse
is the same.
Is
that's worse because
mental
you
abuse
can't see
is
that.
terrible, right? And it sticks with you. A bruise will go away, but a mental bruise or emotional bruise will stick with you forever. So don't get me wrong. I don't know why my wife is thinking I'm telling someone to stay in that type of relationship.
No, I don't think that. You always say, I would never tell somebody to leave their
As a married man, I know that God honors marriage. It is not my place to tell someone what to do in their marriage. Point blank, period. That's what I mean when I say that.
Okay, so if somebody come to you and they talk to you and they tell you all the things, I agree, pray about it, but they telling you all the things that's going on in your marriage.
In my marriage, they can't.
No, not in your marriage. I'm saying, let's say
marriage. Yeah. I can't. I'm not. It's not my place to tell somebody to stay.
And I agree, but you can say
listen. My thing that I say is listen. The first thing that I would say is listen. You need to about that. You need to pray and you need to pray on it. That's the only thing that I can say. And the second thing that I would say is you have to know what you can put up with and what your happiness is. You deserve to be happy. If that's not where you're happy at, then you have to find some type of medium in order to receive happiness. And I'm just saying God loves marriage, and I'm not the one here to tell you what a perfect marriage is or whatever the case may be, but that's not my position.
No, I would not. Mine said, would you tell someone to remain somewhere and they are safe? No, I would not. And that's what I'm saying. Yes, I believe that you should tell them to pray on it, but if somebody is in an abusive relationship,
you gotta go back because there's a lot,
or they are in something that's not going good for them, I'm gonna say to them, if that was me, since you asked, I wouldn't stay in that situation, and I don't think you should stay in it either. That's what I'm saying to him. Now, he's saying that he would never tell somebody that, but I would. And maybe I'm wrong for that, but I would say that.
Go Eunice.
Okay.
On the mom, right there. Up one, right there.
Eleanor said, you plant the seed of love for each other, and God will nurture it and keep it growing. Feed it through prayer. That's correct.
That's exactly right.
Mom said, in the beginning is when you lay the ground rules that you want to follow in your relationship and loving it up over and over again.
That's right, Mom. That's right.
And bring it up over and over again. Eunice said, financial abuse is horrible.
Yes, it is.
And mom said that, Terry, would you tell? No, I wouldn't. And just like I wouldn't tell somebody to remain there if they weren't safe, I would tell them if they were in a bad relationship, I would say you need to leave because you're in a bad relationship. Now, I'm not going to beat them up with it, but I will state it.
I mean, that's fine. But I'm just saying, me personally, when it comes to marriage, it's a whole different demographic because I know how God honors marriage, right?
Okay, so let me ask you
And it's
that question.
my own thing. If somebody, what you gonna ask me the question that mom asked me? Will I
Yeah,
tell somebody to stay there
if
till we're
somebody
safe?
you're gonna tell them like let your friend come to you and they said my wife keep hitting me upside my head, you gonna tell them to pray on it, or would you say, man, you need to get out of there? I mean,
What's
I
so
just
funny?
thought about how I said that. Frank said, I wish you could understood what I wrote, but Frank knows my situation, know how crazy it is.
I look. I understand what it is to, you know, if you, I'm not going to tell you to stay somewhere that is not safe. I'm not going to say that. But just as a man of God, I know where I stand and what God's. I have to follow the commandment of God. I can't jump outside of that. I can't jump on one side of the fence and see what I feel and because I feel, you know, it's wrong for me to stay where it is. You know, if that's not what God is saying, how can I go against that? That's ridiculous. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel, and that's what I'm going to stand on.
Um, Frank, I want to address what, because I think I did understand what you said, and in your particular situation, I wouldn't tell you, I wouldn't say to you, you need to get out of that situation. But what I would say to you that if you have done,
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
if
thank
your
you.
life is at
She
stake, then
helped me.
govern yourself
That's
accordingly.
exactly right. That's what I was trying to get out, but
Stuttering.
I was grabbing for straws. But if your life is at stake, govern yourself accordingly, and that's what you need to do. And I mean, why would you have to go to someone to ask them if you should leave if you know you're getting your behind whooped?
I don't know. Some people do that.
I mean, that's first and foremost, right? But then at the same time, like I said, I'm a God fearing man. God loves marriage. God honors marriage. And then two, I know that God looks at the heart. So if you're divorced in your heart, then you divorced on paper and everything, right? So I'm just saying with that, if someone is coming to me and they're asking me on advice for their marriage, I don't feel that I stand anywhere close to being able to say leave.
And I understand
You
that, but
understand?
I do
That's a
understand
marriage
what you're
that
saying.
if God put that, let you know, they gotta. If you want my advice in a marriage is, hey, listen, you need to pray about it and you have a conversation about it. If that don't work, you need to seek counseling or something. But I'm not here to tell you to leave.
That's true,
Period.
Eunice. If you have to question the situation, then you already answered your question.
That's exactly right.
Frank said, not anymore, just very uncomfortable with the ways things are now. Literally living with the enemy.
I could dig.
See, and that's what I mean. If you feel like you're living with the enemy, life is short. And again, my opinion, but I feel like life is short and we shouldn't have to live with the enemy, especially at our age. We have worked too hard to live with the enemy. I mean, it just, for me, it's like, and trust me, I've been there. I've lived with the enemy. But at this point in my life, if I can't be happy in my own home, if I don't have peace in my own home, I'm gonna have to quote. I'm gonna have to take it back to the old me and quote Medea and say that I'm gonna have to get me a piece and make some peace. Okay, and I won't make that literal, but I'm saying that's that's how serious it is for me. If I can't have peace in my own home, then I need to get me a piece and make some peace. And whatever that means to you, that's whatever peace you need to get to make some peace that's what you need to do. That's how I feel about it. That's just my opinion. Um,
Tony Motley, hey.
Frank said, I hear you. It's very hard to move on too much recovery. And I understand that. And I do understand that. But then again, it's hard, but trusting in God and thinking of yourself and your health, because sometimes being under a stressful situation can make things worse. So again, I guess that goes back to what my husband said. You have to pray on it, and
like Mom said, govern yourself accordingly.
Yeah.
If you feel that if you feel that that situation is detrimental to you, you need to do what you need to do to be happy. Point blank. Period. That's just it. If you need, and I'm not. This is not at anyone. I'm speaking in general. If you need to, you just need to find where your happiness is and follow it.
Exactly.
Point blank.
Eleanor said, "Life is too short and time is too precious to wait." And
You're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
Hey, Susie. Valley says, "Say it, sis." Eunice says, sometimes I've been in my worst enemy because I allowed my toxic marriage to transform me into someone I never wanted to be. Thank God for deliverance. Amen."
Yes, yes, yes. And see, and this is partially what I was saying earlier. If you stay in that type of environment and it becomes you, right? So the more that it becomes you, the more that it takes over who you'd like to be and who you're supposed to be, right? So now you're walking around with a false sense of love. There's no understanding because love is the highest level of understanding. So if you don't understand, now you're walking around with a false sense of everything, right? So you're lost completely. So what you have to do is definitely you got to tap into yourself first before you worry about what's going on with somebody else. You got to understand what it is, how it is, and why it is to love the way you're supposed to. Once you figure that out, then I think it'll be a lot easier to be able to deal with a relationship, especially if it's deep or a marriage or whatever. You have to tap into yourself first.
Frank said, yes, it's actually making me stronger. I just need the time to move. I understand. Mom said, Terry, maybe there are other circumstances that has to be worked out. Living with the enemy. I may be the enemy and you have to become friends again just while you live together. That's true.
Sometimes somebody has to be the bigger man in order for the situation to work, right?
To resolve, before you can move on, she's saying.
Right.
You
Sometimes
have to.
And it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you a weak person, or that doesn't take anything away from your character, or it's not belittling, or that's just thinking like a grown up. That's thinking of what's the best plan so we can resolve this, so that this is not happening anymore, and it'll give me enough time to make and do what I need to do.
But baby, I think that for peace of mind,
right?
Yeah, and I think that just goes back to what you were saying about the beginning. Because if you have been through that before, then it's a lesson learned that the next time, in the beginning, you're gonna make sure everything you cross your T's and dot your I's, so that you won't ever be in that situation again. Because sometimes in that situation, you do have to, for peace of mind, make it work however you can make it work. Whether it's staying at work for 13 hours, whether it's being friends, just agreeing just so you can have peace until you can get to the next level. But once you come out of it, then like next time I'm gonna do different.
So when you do different, you be different.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
Exactly.
when you have those questions in the beginning. When you start to link up with someone else, that's when those questions, you pose those questions. I mean, that's what you have to do
Mm-hmm.
because you won't find out until it's too late and you're too deep in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
It's too
you find
late.
yourself opening up a bag and it's the same bag that you had in your last relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The same bag.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a different color, but the content is exactly the same when you open it.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go with this. I don't want to write. So you should have made provisions in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See you, Eleanor. Thank you. Love you.
What somebody
Um,
for peace of mind. Eleanor gotta run. Okay.
Frank
Let's see.
said, facts. Me, I'm at the point where she's nitpick and comes at me with things I don't even do. And the daughters are borderline disrespectful because they follow their mother. So I just keep my mouth shut and pray. Sometimes it be like that. People look for perfection in people in relationship. Never gonna happen.
You're right. You're right, Motley. You're right.
If you
But
both sit and respect boundaries, it will get much better. Mom said to Frank, boom, if you both set boundaries, it will get much better.
that ain't gonna happen
Yeah.
because she ain't willing to do that.
If one person ain't willing to do that, then
It's a wrap.
that's gonna be a problem.
Oh,
Eunice said we have to ask God to remove the
blinders.
blinders from our eyes in the beginning of any relationship because he definitely reveals. The question is, do we care to see? Exactly.
Woo.
And not only that,
Nice.
are we asking him? Are we conferring with God? Because that was one of the things that I learned with my husband. That, I believed in the Bible that says that a woman when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. So I never prayed for a husband and never, I was never the one to seek out a husband. But I also, on the other hand, I never conferred with God and asked him if this one was right until I got to this husband. And then I did that. So it's also only asking God to reveal, but it's also asking God if this is the right one.
I want to
Because
speak on
we don't do that.
what Tony said.
Tony said people look for perfection in people in relationship. Never gonna happen.
I don't think so either because nobody's perfect. You have to fix what's in you first before you can consider trying to work on someone else. That's like, how you going to tell somebody else to pick up the leaves in their backyard and your yard is full of leaves and tree branches and all of that stuff and you yelling over the fence at this dude living next door because he got a few leaves on the ground. Not going to happen. You got to clean up your yard first, and then when his leaves start to trickle onto your yard, then you definitely have a position to say something. You know what I'm saying? So with that being, I don't believe you're going to find perfection in another person. Or you have
I
to.
don't believe you should look for it, but I
You
think
shouldn't.
perfection is a uh, personal choice. Like for instance, there's nobody perfect,
No,
but you're perfect for me.
in your opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And it's a personal thing. And I didn't look for you to be perfect with me. God did that. That's the God. God knew what I needed and gave me what I needed. I had to be open, and again, it goes back to God. I had to be open to God's choice for me, not my choice for myself.
Right. Right. You're right. Okay.
Frank said, "We've come to the point we agreed to like it, live it out the remainder of the lease and be cordial. And I stay in the garage working on music and bullets. Just so tired of the unnecessary tension. Okay, see that's the get you a piece and makes a piece. Okay, Eunice says sounds like codependency to me. Mom said, well, if a person is not willing to do what they want, do that. They want the other individual out of the house. But it is wrong on every level to allow the children to get into the situation. And that is so true. We got a
Yes.
topic about that coming up. But that's so true. Now, that is, oh my God, that is so true. We're gonna talk about the topic of children, being with somebody but not wanting to deal with the kids.
Actually, that's next Monday.
Yeah, that's next
That's
Monday.
the topic for next Monday.
Want the woman but not a bad kids. But definitely that is so true, Ma. It is wrong on so many levels when you start putting the kids in between that or starting allowing the children.
You have to draw a boundary.
Exactly.
Say, this is not your argument. I know you're my son, you're my daughter, but at the same time, that is an adult. Watch your mouth and go sit down somewhere. Regardless if they're speaking to me in some type of way that you don't like or whatever, I get it. I understand that. But morally, you're wrong because you're addressing an adult, and I taught you better than that.
And not only that, also, the other person could be wrong and that kid could be right, but you never ever say in front of that child, oh, dot dot dot. If you have something to say about what transpired or what that child say, you wait until that child is not to deal with that. You don't give that child that ammunition. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, whether the person is wrong or right, or whether the child is wrong or right, y'all talk about it together as adults, not letting the child be in the midst of that, right, because the child needs to stay in a child place.
Boom, that's my mom. So before she flip out, not in a disrespectful way, but just call her Miss Bowles. Cause she
talking to couples in my family that have been married for 40 or 50 years, they always say the same thing. It was hard, but we stuck it out. My uncle and aunt was married 50 years, said the secret was to stick to it, no matter how hard or impossible it may seem. Yep, because we just said that the first thing you come into it like, ain't no divorce.
There's no divorce happening.
Divorce is not an option.
It's not an option. And to be honest with you, listen, man, this is just my belief, and y'all can call me crazy, whatever. I just don't think that there's that there's nothing that you can't talk to get through it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing you can't talk about. There's nothing you can't address to get through.
If you're mature.
If you're mature.
If you're mature.
I mean, that's different from, I'm not going to say anything, but, especially if it's physical abuse and even emotional abuse, if that can't be, if that can't be tackled, right, then by all means, govern yourself accordingly and do what you need to do for yourself. But I'm just saying, if you're grown and,
Well, first of all, if you're grown, it won't be that. Because I think some of the abuse come from, like when someone is abusing you, that comes from their insecurity sometimes. You know how that when people are possessive and abusive, that's their insecurity. And so that means they haven't matured past that. So it's all about being mature. Frank Boone said, y'all hit the nail on the head about the children. Yes. And Mama said, oh, you can call me Sister Bowles. Just don't call me late for dinner. I know that's right. What's for dinner?
Well, listen, y'all. We are an hour and 34 minutes. Our time is definitely up.
Wow. This was a good conversation.
It really was.
It really was.
We really drifted over into I just want to say that you have to do and be the best person that you can be and do the
Valerie
best.
said, if you have to hit, you have to go. Amen.
Yeah, that's what's up. You're right. I just feel like let's be the best person that we could possibly be, and hopes that you know um, you take responsibility for your actions in a relationship, and you make sure that you stand on what you're doing on your behalf, you know, and then that way, prayerfully, the other person, if you lead by example, maybe they'll take a start to chip off what you're doing and come to grips with themselves in order to figure out, well, hey, this person is doing a sense of self correction. So maybe I need to do the same thing. Maybe I need to stand back and look at myself in the mirror and change some things about me because I definitely see change in that person, you know, and then prayerfully, you know, you will be able to come to a medium where you can sit down if you haven't ever been able to exactly, you know, put out there what you need to put out there, and prayerfully they'll be heard. You know, you'll be heard, they'll be heard instead of just listening. You know what I'm saying? And once you listen, then you know it's a different story. So, with that being said, man, we enjoyed y'all this evening. We love y'all, man.
Thank you for joining us. Listen,
Any
the
topics?
Corona Chronicles. Guys, listen, it's ready. It's out there. My sister Valerie, she's heads it up. She's actually, it was her whole thing idea. She put it together. I have a chapter in it and 14 other authors, including my great niece, great nephew. Their mother is actually on here now too. Kia, that's my niece. Hatchett Chronicles. I Am Me. Get your book. It's really really going to be a good read. Our book will be ready next month out. From my rib. My sister Valley has the book club one, the book club two, Carol's Return, and the Ladies of the Book Club web series. My artist on YouTube is the Ladies of the Book Club web series. So my artist, Del Royale, is doing his thing with his music. My major artist, Sabrina Johnson, is doing her thing. The support is just wonderful. The numbers are hitting. Thank you guys for supporting us. We're looking at moving to a new platform, Roku TV. So Roku TV. So just
stick with us.
Stick with us.
Shout out Akil Ali. That's my man.
And April.
And April. Black Poetry. Is the you can catch them on Facebook too. It's Black Poetry Series on Facebook. Pull it up. You can check them out. We just did a project together. I did a track for one of his poems. It's crazy. You definitely like it. Black poetry is black love. Is what all the time. So
Kia
shout out
said,
to Kia.
Kia said, new episode of Ladies of the Book Club coming soon, so look out for that.
Nice.
Mom, we're gonna be at Bible study. Give us a few minutes. We'll be there though. Look out for the things my husband are doing. Listen, y'all, we love you. We love you, and thank you for the support.
If we missed any plugs or anything, please forgive us. But we do post what's going on, you know, on Facebook and on the other platforms that we on. We will be putting out more content, letting you guys know exactly what's coming up. So just, you know, keep your eyes peeled, man. Keep your ears open. Tuesday, tomorrow night, I'm still contemplating whether I'm gonna go live on Mixcloud or not. I still haven't really mastered the live part of it with the cameras and all of that stuff. I wasn't really gonna go into that, but y'all my Toe Tap family, and I rock out with y'all, so y'all know what's up. It's a couple of difficulties that I'm still dealing with. So if I don't go live, you can definitely. I'm gonna put a link up most definitely tomorrow. That the new mix that I just did. I just did a new mix yesterday. It's definitely a Toe Tap mix. I did it for y'all. I did it for us. And next Tuesday we're gonna be rocking. We're gonna be rocking because I got some new equipment and stuff coming in. So we'll be able to really get busy. Thank you all, man, so
We got
much.
one more week. We got next week. We have the subject, but after that, our calendar is. Do we have one more after that? Well, we need some topics. So
If you want to share, we don't need topics,
yeah,
but
but if you want
if
to
you'd
give
like
us
to
a
share
share,
and you want to give us a topic that we can touch on, and we'll definitely dedicate that show to you. Like tonight, we
oh, we
dedicate the
got two
show
more
to Frank
topics.
Boone. That's my man, DJ Extreme. Tonight's show was inspired by him, and we thank you, Boone, for even giving us, a part of what you're dealing with, and who you are, man. We love you. We support you. Whatever you need, we here, bro. Got your back. You know what's up.
And thank you for your topics, by the way,
Yeah,
everybody. Everybody, thank
everybody.
you for the topics. We
Right.
got two more topics to
We
go.
got two more topics this week coming up.
And
Well,
so,
this Monday and the following Monday.
yes,
And
so
then
it opens back up.
I'm waiting for the 26th is a open
All right, Kia, got you. 3 weeks, fear of commitment. Thank you for that.
Okay, that's dope.
That's gonna be dope. Fear of commitment.
I'm waiting for Eunice, my cuz, to give me a topic. She said she gonna see what she can come up with. But Frank Boone, thank you. Love you too, bro. No doubt. We thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Like we said, keep the topics rolling in. Stick with us, man. We only gonna get better from here because y'all make it great for us to do this, man. And we thank God for this platform, and we thank y'all for tuning in, the comments, the listens, the everything, man. You guys make it so wonderful for us to do this. You make it great for us to come on and speak, man. So with that being said, this is the Hatchett Chronicles, and we are out. And we will see you guys on Monday. Stay safe, and we love you.